Welcome to the Metabreakers podcast number 36. This episode is starring the same people as always, DmoneyGames on his own channel, and Warshack, not to be confused with the Warshack, which is actually his Twitch name, because that is not his brand. He is only to be referred by as Warshack without the, even though that's how you actually navigate his Twitch channel. How are you doing today, boys?
Wow, that was perfect.
That was good.
Did you introduce yourself as well?
Oh, I'm DracoCatt, your friend who plays Demon Hunter every single day, like a madman. There you go.
Yeah, I'm doing well. New expansion's out. I got some mixed feelings about it, but doing well regardless, you know. Hanging in there. How you doing, Warshack?
I'm doing pretty good. I've had each class I think has quite a few viable decks at the moment until maybe the meta gets refined and the good decks pop up and then shut down all the fun decks. But right now the fun decks I feel like have room to breathe. I've been having a good time playing it, and we streamed quite a bit the past couple days, and yeah, overall can't really complain at all. What about you, Draco?
I think I like the Madness expansion, like in general in the first week, despite the fact that I did also go through, a day or two where I got really, really, really tilted and like upset and refused to walk away from the game and continued playing until I was actually sad. I had
so
that
D-money every day.
But despite that, I still have enjoyed the cards. The direction of the meta has shifted from RNG to mana cheating, and I guess that's new. It's kind of new. I mean,
It's
not really new. It's different than it was last week.
Yeah, I actually feel the opposite way of Warshack right now. You know, the first day was fun, all right, because you actually got to play a variety of decks. Or at least I got to. And then day 2, or I don't know if it was as early as day 2. Maybe it was day 2 or day 3. Then all I started playing against was Evolve Shaman, Soul DH, and what's the other one? Rogue, like a secret miracle rogue kind of thing, or just like a tempo rogue. And it literally just like those 3 classes with like a sprinkle of ETC control warrior in there, and yeah, that's like all I play against right now, and it's really boring and draining, and I'm trying to have fun, but like nobody lets me have fun. Like, what am there's just a lot of decks that you can't
I have a solution.
play. Hold on, there's just like a lot of decks that you just like can't play because Shaman has a full board of like 4 cost and up minions on turn 4 or 5. Like it's
Is this sad. Deja vu from the last time you couldn't play Highlander Mage? Because I feel like it might be. Like,
it's not because of Highlander Mage. It's just like there's so many decks, like archetypes that I was actually enjoying or like wanted to explore more, and it feels like I need to play certain cards or else I'm going to not be able to overcome a turn 4 or 5 of some of these decks. Like even aggro tempo Demon Hunters is quite difficult to deal with a lot of these decks too.
Yeah, that's back, huh?
Yeah, so the thing with that is you're playing at like top 1000 legend, right? People playing at top 1000 legend are going to play good decks. That's why they're top 1000 legend. So like when you try to play the fun decks at top 1000 legend, you're going to get owned by the people not playing the fun decks and the good decks. So unfortunately, I mean, that's what like my problem, right? Like if I want to play fun decks, I know I'm not going to be top 1000 legend. And I can only imagine how frustrating it is to want to play the good stuff that you think is fun and like try new builds, but like you just can't take those losses at your rank because you're also a competitive player. And then you had brought up a thing yesterday, and you hurt my feelings. You're like, you say 80% win rate, but then you're garbage legend. And the reason being for that is because when I deck test decks that I haven't played before, I can end up going like 0-8 or like 1-10 until I can like get the deck to a point where it actually is winning more than losing. You know what I'm saying? And with your rank, you don't have the luxury to do that because you're a top 1000, top 100 most of the time, very high level player. So
yeah, when you're in high legend, you go 1-10 with some kind of meme shit. It's like you just found the Holy Grail. Like that's like pretty much what happened. It's like, wow, I just played like I don't know, Elemental Mage, and I went 1-10 in top 100. This is obviously the best deck in the game. you know, like or
Yeah, I mean, I'm
something
not
like
like trying to go for like #1 with these decks, but like I just want to have like I just want to just not completely tank my rank, and like I felt like I was able to do that in Scholomance. Like I could play like Highlander Warrior, and like I know it's not the best deck, but like it still could win games, and like was just fun and different. And I feel like it's like so much harder to do that now because like the power levels of those top decks right now, they're just like so high. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some changes soon, honestly, even though a lot of people are gonna disagree with me. But and
Yeah,
also, sorry,
sure we'll see some
Warshack,
changes
I
soon.
did not mean to offend you in any way.
It's okay.
I was just memeing on you, and but the 80% thing was funny, I think.
Yeah. Well, here's the meta. It looks kind of the same, right? Like as it did the previous week. Well, let me. I want to compare it. Let's see.
Did we have a new expansion? Yeah,
We did have a new expansion. In fact, okay.
I mean-
Demon Hunter is now second instead of third. Hunter is now third instead of second. Rogue went way down. Shaman went way up. Okay, this is different. This is way different. All right, let's be real.
Yeah.
It just looks like kind of similar because we have the top 3 ones that were last week's top 3 on the top.
Mhm.
But it's just really different with the Demon Hunter and the Hunter placement, even though that their like actual win rate is both like almost the same. Like 54.4 and 54.2 are barely different. But Shaman going from 45% win rate to 52.8%. All that's tier 1 level percentile good.
Yeah.
Incredible. Who knew?
Yeah, so just to
Maybe
clear
they
up for you
printed
guys,
Evolve again.
this is the overall spread, and then we're gonna get into the top 1K decks right after this.
Yeah.
But yeah, Shaman is definitely up there, and for a good reason. I mean, the Evolve Shaman deck I think is borderline broken, if not broken, like I was explaining before. And yeah, I feel like the Demon Hunter and Hunter, like at the beginning of any expansion, I feel like aggressive decks usually just take over because people are trying new things, trying to make other things work. And that'll just slap you in the face while you're trying to get down your niche little combos, you know.
To be honest,
So-
looking at Priest at the bottom, I don't feel like Priest is like bad, first of all, and I also don't feel like Druid is bad. I feel like all of the decks right now kind of have like a broken deck. All of the classes have a broken deck. Excuse me. You know, like
Except Mage.
I don't know. Have you played Highlander Priest recently, D-Money? How does it feel?
That's what I was playing today. Yeah.
Yeah, does it feel okay?
I think it feels really good. I know a lot of people have been getting high ranks with Highlander Priest. I think Priest should be way up there. But this is not top 1K or anything, so I
Right.
could see how like at
It's
the
hard to
lower
play.
ranks that people are just really dominating with those more aggressive decks. Makes total sense to me.
Okay, you
Yeah,
want to go into
normally-
the top 1K
Wait,
already?
Warshack had something to say here. What are you
I'm
trying to say?
What's up, Rob? Was good.
Oh, I was just gonna say for the top overall 4 decks here, we have Paladin, Demon Hunter, Hunter, and Shaman. So for those of you in chat, I'm guessing for the best decks here, we have like Paladin being pure Paladin, Demon Hunter being what is it? The Shard
Soul.
Demon Hunter.
Yep.
Soul Demon Hunter. Hunter, we probably have what is it? The Face Hunter that's doing very well.
Probably still like
And
face
then,
Highlander.
Face Highlander Hunter, a mixture of that. And then for Shaman, it's going to be the new Evolve Shaman for you guys in chat who are curious, like, okay, I see Paladin up there, but what Paladin deck is it? So hopefully that you can kind of see there, like, what the best decks are for these classes.
Yeah, I think pure
That's all.
Paladin's still decent, especially with a lot of Demon Hunters around. Paladin is usually like the main counter to those Demon Hunters just because of like the Libram of Hopes and just like the annoying Divine Shields that they could put on the board there. So yeah, we can get into the top 1K decks right now. Here we go. So we see Highlander Hunter at the top. Then we got Enrage Warrior and Soul DH. That's the tier 1 decks that we see right there.
Is any of that surprising to us?
Enrage Warrior is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I haven't seen a single one. Granted, I'm not top 1,000 legend, but normally people like if there's a streamer who's top 1K, right, and they do really well with the deck, it normally trickles down ladder pretty damn fast. So
I just played a game against an Enrage Warrior around like rank 500, and I won so many games in a row and then lost to just this Enrage Warrior because he used that pirate dude right?
Sword Eater.
And then Sword Eater, right? And then the follow-up turn, he coined out a Krastanov or whatever. He got a Krastanov out and then hit it with the Divine Shield thing, where it brought it up to like a 7-1 after he traded it into a minion, and then he basically continued to just close me out of the game by turn 7 when I had like the nuts hand. I was like, okay, I guess like now I'm getting hit with like a 6 attack sword, and I'm getting hit with like a 7 attack Krastanov every turn with Divine Shield. So like I have seen people turn Enraged Warrior into an offensive game plan and like kill me as Soul Demon Hunter, which is pretty crazy. It's good. It's very good. And they run the Grom at the end of it and everything, of course, as well. It's pretty nasty. I don't know. Have you played any of those, D-Money?
I have not played against a single one, but I know that it is gaining popularity as of like last night, literally last night.
It's real nasty.
I think like No Hands Gamer started playing it, McBanterface started playing it, and yeah, I think a lot of people have been doing quite well with it. It's still, I don't think there's like any new cards besides the Sword Eaters, but Sword Eater is just a good card, and the deck was already like pretty dang good before that, so.
It's really nice because it seems like super weapon buff heavy, and the Sword Eater is like a defensive tool that Enraged Warrior is able to use as like a defensive and offensive tool, since you have like all the things that upgrade your weapon durability.
It's a really solid card, yeah.
Yeah. It's a very, very good card for a deck that was already extremely good. So, and the weakness of it before was kind of like the mid game, like the pivoting turns where you kind of would get behind and then someone would push you out of it. And that card really helps kind of off balance its weakness, which was like, you don't do much until turn 5. So that card protects you and gives you a way to control the board. So I get it. Face Hunter is right on the top of tier 2. I don't see a lot of that.
I don't think Face Hunter got anything. Like, did they actually get any card changes at all? The Face Hunter?
Yeah, I think Face Hunter got more of a secret package, right? Like
now it's like Face Secret. They have the rifle. That's like the main thing, I think.
And the petting zoo, right? And then
that is good
the
too.
new secret.
Is the petting zoo is actually played in Face Hunter?
Mm-hmm.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you just jam a whole bunch of secrets out, then play that 3 mana, summon a whole bunch of 3/3s, and
interesting.
Yeah, really, really pretty aggressive.
Okay, cool. And then the Soul Demon Hunter. They have the new 6 mana, or what is it? A 6 mana 5/5 or 6 mana 6/6 Draco. But did Soul Demon Hunter get anything else as well?
Yeah, Soul Demon Hunter is actually really different. Than it was previously, because the best Soul Demon Hunter packages right now are Cutting Milicia, which is kind of weird. Yeah, because of the fact that she's a 7 mana card, and the ETC warriors were able to get the combo off on you really reliably when you had the big board of minions out. And then instead of running, like people are bringing spectral sights now a lot.
Yep.
Relentless Pursuit is in the deck because it helps enable the Bladed Ladies, which are also new. And then people run Il'gynoth pretty much in every single Soul Demon Hunter deck as well. So it's got Bladed Ladies, Il'gynoth, Spectral Sights, and Relentless Pursuits in it now. So
yeah,
it's a lot of cards different.
Looks like Il'gynoth is just as powerful as I thought it would be. That card,
I think it's more powerful than most people were. I mean, people were, obviously like doing the Doomsday thing because that's what happens when Demon Hunter cards are announced.
Yeah,
they're like, Glide, no. But Il'gynoth is crazy, man. The fact, like, I've played some games where it's been like, oh shit, my opponent put up a big taunt and I can't get through it, and I'm like, oh snap, I can just equip the Eldrazi Warblades and throw out Il'gynoth and smack the taunt and he's dead. And that's like, I don't know, that wasn't possible before. You had to like rely on like removing taunts and Kanye and things like that. But now you can just find these lethals that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, like the card's already solid on its own. Like you could drop it on turn 4 if you really need to. You probably don't want to, but yeah, it's a really solid finisher. It's like pretty easy to get off too. I mean, it's pretty easy to just equip a Warblades one turn and then just set it up. Like that's your whole setup is Warblades equipped like the turn before. And then you just go into Twin Slice, Second Slice, Twin Slice, Second Slice, Il'gynoth, and there you go. You did it.
Yeah, to be honest, it doesn't happen like that frequently. Like it's very often that I found that you don't get the value out of Il'gynoth that you want when you're playing Soul Demon Hunter. Like you get it in your hand early, and you're just like, okay, this is not going to work. I need to just get it out of my hand. That happens really frequently. Like there's not a whole bunch of circumstances with Il'gynoth where you do have that perfect 2-turn setup that I'm sure you remember it like that, where they like equip the war blades, the next turn they
I mean,
drop it down.
I
to
just
2
did
times
it in the
damage.
tournament. I was just playing as a deck.
Yeah,
First game
that's
I played
incredible.
it, I finished with like a 14 damage Il'gynoth thing. Yeah.
I would say out of playing like 30, 40 Demon Hunter games a day, that probably happens like 2 or 3 times. You know, like where you get like a perfect Il'gynoth, like I'm gonna slap you in the face with all of this damage and do a setup on it.
I mean, it wasn't
But
perfect, but yeah. I could talk about my hate for Il'gynoth all day, but so we see a lot of decks up here that are all like 53% and up, which is a lot, right?
Yeah, I mean, even Evolved Shaman at the very bottom is at 53%.
And I was prepared to argue about Evolved Shaman, but it's not even like at the top here.
It is not. I'm glad to see Pure Paladin also not at the top. Your hate for Demon Hunter is my hate for Pure Paladin. When combined together.
Fair enough. Yeah, but it seems like a lot of decks are doing well. Not all classes are represented in this top 1K though. It's only a few classes, and that's kind of what I was upset about on Twitter yesterday, about like how I'm playing against like the same classes, like the same 3 or 4 classes over and over, which starts to get a little boring for me. But hopefully,
Aggro Demon Hunter is back. We should definitely talk about that for a second, because that deck was not on this chart for the last like 5 months or as well. Same thing with Evolved Shaman. Like,
yeah,
those are brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Aggro Demon Hunter did get some really good tools. I rated their cards like pretty. I actually, well, their cards were like some of the lowest rated on the review that I did. But I feel like the aggressive cards that they got are just like, they're just so good for that one archetype. Like the acrobatics, it's like a sprint for 3 mana, and you get to play the cards essentially. Like, I don't know, it's like super duper good. And like Stilt Stepper, I think, is being played as well. They just got so many cards that just give you pure damage.
You know what card I didn't actually expect was going to see as much play as it ended up seeing was Dreadlord's Bite. That one is interesting to me. You know, the 3 mana outcast weapon, do 1 AoE to like all enemies.
It's because you're not running Marrow Slicer in this deck because of like Stilt Stepper and acrobatics. So it totally makes sense that like it is just like a solid weapon, I feel. And like the fact that it does it to that 1 damage is actually kind of a big deal too, I feel.
Very. I compared it to like Ravaging Ghoul and things that like the end of like a Deathbite weapon, but you get it at the front end. And Deathbite was one of the best weapons in the game. So I rated that weapon actually really high in my review.
Yeah.
I thought that weapon was really, really good. Maybe not in like the soul fragment package, but just as a weapon that could get played in, like, for example, this aggro demon hunter. I mean, it just seems really good.
Well, I think when we were all looking at these aggressive Demon Hunter cards, and just like the majority of the Hearthstone community was looking at them and rating them fairly low, I think what we were thinking about was the previous forms that aggro Demon Hunter has taken in the past, and the way we remembered it, which is like, you know, Battle Fiend into Umberwing, into Satyr Overseer, into like, you know, like Marrow Slicer or something, or Glavebound Adept on 5, you know what I mean? Like that was kind of the usual curve. But instead now the highest cost cards in the deck is 3. It went from being like I don't know, like a mid-range, like bursty aggro deck to being like a hyper aggro deck.
Yeah, so there's not even Skull in it, right?
Yeah, you don't run Skull, you just run all 3 and lower. So, and sometimes people run Kanye, right? That's like a card that the top end that sometimes people put in there. 4-drop Kanye. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely get why it feels good. I played a lot of Odd Demon Hunter in Wild just because I wanted to build that before anyone did. And I was using a whole bunch of the cards that are in the Hyper Demon Hunter list, and they felt incredible. And I was surprised as well. So very cool.
Well, good for you, Draco.
I think they've done a pretty good job at, like, if you play Demon Hunter and WoW, like, it feels, like, pretty damn similar in Hearthstone. Like, I think they've done it, like, as much as D-Money, you hate it, the feel of the class is, like, substantially different than most other classes, and, like, the card flavor and, like, what the deck does and, like, what the cards do and how they, like, interact and, like, the animations are, like, really spot on to WoW. If
Yeah,
anybody in chat does play WoW.
I've had people in my chat tell me that it was similar to WoW and that it's annoying in both of them.
Oh my god, Demon Hunter is so good in WoW and like PvP and stuff. Like they have so much flexibility and like the ability to like adapt for
Yeah.
each situation and like a mobility. And then in Hearthstone they have the same thing. They
Yep.
literally have the exact same thing. So
You know, it's kind of interesting because do you think like the Demon Hunter in WoW and the Demon Hunter in Diablo, because the Demon Hunter in Diablo is kind of the same kind of concept. It's like really fast, really versatile, it can do a lot of damage, can just
but
jump
she's
around
ranged.
everywhere.
She's ranged. In WoW it's melee.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but like you can still throw stuff in WoW, right? Like you can throw your war glaives and everything and glide.
Well, now you
Yeah,
could
but-
throw. Now you could throw that 1-mana card, that one glaive, that new glaive thing.
Throw glaive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a card.
Somebody actually main decked that against me yesterday.
Wow,
Yeah.
incredible. I saw someone doing that with like who hit a really high rank with their Demon Hunter deck, and I think that's nonsense. Yeah, man, that card is so situational. It's like the worst thing to
yeah.
get off a wand maker now.
But I mean,
Potentially.
you
It's
never know.
exciting.
I have gotten those throw glaives, and then it just been like the perfect answer for like the next turn, and been like, oh, cool, ding, 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 great, yay, you know.
Easy.
But
I mean, that's what it does in WoW. Like you throw it and then it can bounce between people. So, like I said, flavor is like pretty on point with Demon Hunter, which is cool.
All right.
cool.
Do you
Do
wanna-
we want to get into the battle pass?
yeah, do you want me to do the
Uh,
overview that I did again, or does anyone want to summarize what I said earlier, or do their own? I don't
I
care.
think you did a great job.
Let me do it again.
It's perfect.
All right.
Let's hit the repeat button.
All right, guys. So here's what's going on with the Battle Pass. For any of you guys listening to last week's podcast, looked at Reddit, or was anywhere on the internet that talked about Hearthstone in the previous week, people are still pissed. Surprise. I know what you guys might be thinking. People on Reddit and on the internet are always pissed. What makes this week so different? Well, I'll tell you why. Because Hearthstone actually responded to last week's pissed offery by saying, okay, since you guys want more gold instead of packs, what we'll do is we'll get rid of the last few packs that you win on the last steps of the reward track in the battle pass. And instead we'll replace those, those random packs with 150 gold. So overall, this is just a pro. There's really no con to this. They're giving us more resources because 150 gold is more valuable than a pack that we don't get to choose. But the problem is the internet still decided that they were probably not getting as much gold or as much benefit as we were getting before. We still don't get the gold from the 3 wins. And in general, Hearthstone is still super expensive. Most people were kind of perceiving that since we're revamping the reward structure of Hearthstone, we're going to make it more accessible. We're going to make it less expensive. We're going to make this game something that we can recommend to more people for them to get involved with it. But it turns out that the game is not getting cheaper. And to everyone else's, surprise or lack of surprise, that makes people mad because they wanted the game to be cheaper because it's now pretty unaffordable. Yeah.
Well, I
So people
wanted
are
it
still
to be
mad.
more expensive.
You want it to be more expensive. Yeah.
No, actually, so it's not 150 gold exactly for each one. As you see right here, a total of 6 packs were changed to 1350 gold. So it's like a little more than 200 gold for each.
Okay.
But I think it starts at 150 and then it goes up a little bit.
Right.
But yeah, everybody's still upset. Still, they want their 10 gold back and everything, even though 10 gold is literally nothing. And yeah, I mean, if you're doing the math, I guess you have. People are also there's a thing. People are not counting the bonus like things. You're apparently getting like bonus experience from events or something that are coming to Hearthstone. And we don't know how much experience or something from that, so that might be where they make it up. I'm not sure. But they are doing that as well, so they're at least trying to go in the right direction. I think we're on a good path here.
I mean, it was unspecified. Like they just said we're gonna be like. They didn't mention any sort of like the battle pass requires events for it to be good, and then they didn't specify what events they're gonna be doing, when they will be, how long they will be, how much experience they'll give. Like there's a lot of like. I feel like this is a make it up as you go storybook. like I don't
It does
know,
look like a children's storybook. It kind of does.
Yeah,
look
like
that.
dude, like why can't we just have the numbers to then like do the math? And like if it was that much better, wouldn't you just be like, here guys, like here are the numbers, like look at all this, look how much, like if you know what I'm saying, if it was that much better, wouldn't you want to like showcase that off? Wouldn't that be like a driving point of this, like, wow, look at this, it's gonna be awesome. This is like, you can clearly see without any reason or doubt that this is much better than what you've previously had. And like why would you not want to showcase that? So I don't know, that's my
Because
point.
they're probably not trying to actually give people more money or make the game cheaper at all. Like that's probably actually the truth of the circumstance. And I mean, so one of the big problems with the video game industry, I'm sure, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this. I bet you guys are somewhat familiar with this. But video game publishers like Activision, specifically Activision in this circumstance, one of the problems that video game publishers have and developers kind of clash with these video game publishers is the fact that um, the publishers want the games to make more money this year than it made last year. And that's always the corporate perspective. You know, it's like, okay, last year we made $600,000. This year we need to make $1 million. You know, like it's like we need to make this. They have these targets that are always larger. You know, they're always looking to make more. And video game cycles and the way games work that isn't how people are. You know, it's not like RuneScape was going to make more money year 7 than it made year 5 if they're still just releasing new content in the same circumstance. And Hearthstone's the same way. They don't get more players every single expansion every single time. So it's thinking like, okay, this year Hearthstone has to make more money isn't entirely feasible when it's like, okay, there's like a pandemic going on. There's, you know, like all of these other factors happening where the game naturally they don't make more money every single year. Sometimes they make less. Sometimes they make a similar amount. You know, it's just kind of a failed business model when you apply publishing and that corporate perspective of everything needing to make more every year to a video game. And you can kind of see Hearthstone has that pressure, you know, to make more money than it did the previous year. You know?
Yeah, but with this kind of video game, like with cards, right? Like they have that ability to every expansion. Like we have to purchase more cards. Most games don't have that. Like World of Warcraft doesn't have that. You have the subscription fee, right? Which you pay every month, but that doesn't get larger. You don't pay more every month. But Hearthstone, like they have the ability to make more cards, which makes you buy more packs. They have the ability to add skins, cosmetic items. There's a lot. I think there's a lot of leeway with Hearthstone that they're able to like go down like avenues to make money, which may not like the way they've done it kind of feels a little predatory. But like I think there's plenty of ways that Hearthstone could make more money, but like still feel like an okay game to play and not too expensive.
Yeah, I completely agree. We probably get more people into Hearthstone if it was a little bit less expensive. Like they probably make more money in general from like getting more people addicted to it.
Yeah, like I think Reed. Oh, sorry, D Money, you go
No,
ahead.
you go.
I've spoken. All right, last point. Both I believe and Regis and D Money's, Regis and Dexter's like video on it was like the main question they got to that was like really like kind of like the bread and butter of like I don't know, the whole thing was, would you recommend Hearthstone to your friend? And they said no, it's too expensive. And I think that's a big deal. Like, because when my friends go, Rob, should I play Hearthstone? Like, I tell them no. Like I said, it's going to cost too much to play, and I know they're not going to spend like hundreds of dollars to get into it. So I'd rather them save them time, like save their time, and do something else with that. Or I tell them like literally just do your daily quests, don't spend any money, maybe buy the welcome bundle, but it's going to take a while, right? And I think if you could answer the question like, hey, would you recommend Hearthstone to your friend? It is easy to get into to like at least get like a deck or two, and the answer was yes. I think like we would actually get like a lot more people playing the game again, or at least like new players coming. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that's a very important question to get that answer from no to yes. And I think if you get that, that's a fuck like the best direction the game can go. That's like that should be like number one.
Yeah.
I also don't think we should undervalue the free deck that people get still, because I think like in general, and I understand what Regis and Dexter are saying when they say, no, I wouldn't tell my friends to get into the game, but because it's too expensive. And I agree with that. You know, like if you're really into it, it's too expensive, but you get a free deck when you play. We should probably inspire people to play to at least that point, you know, like finish the apprenticeship, get your free deck, see if you like the game. Because like the free decks are good. You get actual meta, really good decks just from playing
Very true.
now without putting money in the game. And that wasn't the case a year ago or the year before, but it is the case now. So yeah, the reward cycle might be bullshit, but now you get a free deck still. So like we can't forget about that when we think about like, oh, should new people play Hearthstone? Like, yeah, why not? Can get Face Hunter just from playing the game, or see if you like that. Or you can get like, I don't know, a Highlander mage deck or Soul Demon Hunter just from clicking play. Why not?
Very
You
true.
know?
Very true.
Yeah, I think that the point that you brought up, Rob, that Dexter and Regis had brought up is a very good point about like asking your friends if they should play, or if they ask you if they should play it. And like they have given, like I keep saying this over and over, that like they're moving in that, like in the direction of like helping free to play players with like the free deck that Draco is talking about, and also with the no duplicates and packs, which is a huge thing. And those are all good changes. So I feel like they are working on that, like they're going in that direction. And like especially like when they say in that interview, in that video, that they're like, before the reward thing came out, that it was going to be more gold for people, like more rewards overall. Like why would you lie there? I don't know. Like that, maybe they just like underestimated like how much they can give, like they should give us, or like I don't know, like how much people want.
There's different ways to rate gold, right? They might have been rating gold in the sense that like you get skins, and they might rate that very highly. Also, if like you play 8 to 10 hours a day and you play a shit ton during like these events, that yes, you could possibly make more gold. That technically isn't a untrue statement, but for 90% of the players, they won't. You know what I mean? Like that could be true to a certain situation for a certain player, and technically they're not lying, because some players will make more gold, I'm sure. But the vast majority of Hearthstone players, which is, you know, who we should care about, they've done the math and the answer is no, right? So I don't think they were technically lying.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, I hope that they do give us more awards still. I mean, I think that this revamp is just good for the game because of the fact, not because of like the rewards or anything, even though I like cosmetics. It's nice to offer like cosmetic stuff for people that want to pay for it. But also it just gives you incentive to play more. Like the incentive before was like you play, you get your quest done, you get 10 gold for 3 wins. That's it. Like this, you actually keep getting experience when you play, so it's actually incentive, and I feel like this is like moving in the right direction. It's just not there yet. But like it's getting there, and like incentive is like a big thing for this game, like especially like,
Yeah.
with like things like Tavern Brawl. Like it's just like a thing that you play like one game and then you're done. Like now if you have a quest to win 5 Tavern Brawl games, like okay, like I'm gonna get some nice quest, like some nice reward, or like nice experience for my track here, so I actually want to play this Tavern Brawl now, or something like that. So yeah.
So hot take on this. You know, I'm gonna say this. You know, and I don't think I'm not sticking up for Blizzard or this change in any way. First of all, I don't agree with it. But we're in a way better place economically with Hearthstone than we were for the last like 3 or 4 years. The free deck thing is huge, and the no duplicates thing is also huge for what it does for the economy of the game and how it makes achieving a collection more doable. And
Mhm.
when these changes were made, we all just glossed over it on the internet, because on the internet, what spreads is toxicity, not positive attitudes about good changes. So when they gave the free deck, people were like, wow, this is good. Do I get a free one? No, because I played in the last 3 months. Shit, this isn't that great. You know, people just glossed over that. It doesn't matter. And then when they're like duplicate protection, that come out, people were like, we needed this 5 years ago. Great. Let's gloss over that. And now they did this thing where this reward cycle thing comes out and people are like, I get 2,000 less gold in a month. That's 20 packs. But then like, what about all the other things? Like when you add it all up together, like are we in a worse place than we were like in the past? Probably not. We're probably still in a positive place than from where we were at years ago. And this is a setback. This is definitely a setback. But in general, the changes that Hearthstone has made over the years, like when we think about the things that the game has given us to incentivize new players to play, it is in a better place. Like we can spread the toxicity of like, yo, the rewards track, we're not getting our gold from just playing the game now. We're getting less gold. But like you don't open the same epic 5 times now. Like you can get all of the epics if you just open a whole bunch of packs, you get all the collection. Like you can't just keep whiffing on getting one epic that you need like a million times, because that's what would happen to me. Like I would open a million packs and I would just have like 9 of that one druid epic that I don't need, and then I would have like none of the ones that I want. But I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's definitely better. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, no, that's it. I'm sorry.
Now, I agree it's definitely better, but I think that's just bare minimum. I don't think you should have ever been able to open up duplicate stuff. I think that should have been standard. Like in my mind, that should have just been like standard like procedure. And like, yes, I really hope after 5.5 years, Hearthstone has gotten better at trying to invite new players to play the game. They have to, because it's not a new game anymore. It's a 5.5-year-old game, or maybe even more now, right? So like they have to make improvements. If they didn't, that would be like really sad. They're a multi-billion-dollar company. But like I think like D-Money had mentioned this
jobs.
like, but I do think that the Tavern Pass and like rewarding players for playing and having them feel like the achievements are really cool, the layout's cool. It just like D-Money says, I think they need a little bit of time, which we'll give them, of course, to like try to improve on that, make it better, make it feel good when you play games. You know, right now you don't get the 10 gold for winning 3 games anymore, but maybe there's some other system they can put into place that does at least give you that feel good, like, hey, I'm playing the game, I'm progressing. I think Fortnite does a great way of doing that when I played it, like back when it first started. Like when you play each game, like you can see at the end of each game, it like gives you all these bonuses and shit's flying on your screen. You're like, oh my God, I gotta play another one because I like what this looks like. And I think Hearthstone could, you know, that's when shit popped up and you got 10 gold. You're like, gee willikers, hell yeah, fuck, I got 10 gold, baby. That's going right in the pocket. And then you could spend that on packs later and it would take forever. But still, it made you feel good, right? It was a feel good. So I think that is something I think they should do, like D-Money mentioned.
Like now Hearthstone's really put in like this place where like everybody's there's a lot of people revolting and like saying they're not going to spend money now on Hearthstone stuff, and like that's good and that's fine. It's just like you can revolt, and like it looks like it's working actually. So I support everybody that's doing that in a non like toxic manner. If you're not like calling like Blizzard people like shitheads and whatever, like
yeah, it's not the developers
and
fault.
like also you can I've seen people come into my stream and other streams and like tell a streamer that I've had people tell me like that I'm like part of the problem because I'm supporting Blizzard, and like it's ridiculous. Like I chose to buy it. I don't even care if I get less stuff. I chose to buy it anyway. This is the game that I stream. This is my life, essentially. Like, this is how I make money. This is, like, a game that I've enjoyed for 7 years. So, just don't spread, like, hate to these streamers. Like, they have nothing to do with it. Like, they're, like, if they choose to support it or buy, like, if they choose to buy, like, both bundles and everything, like, that's because they want content. And they're, like, trying to, like, make content for you guys. Like, that's the whole entire thing. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, this doesn't inspire me to quit. The Hong Kong situation to me was a lot more impacting on like my moral fiber. You know what I mean? Like that was like, I feel like one of the situations where I had to actually reflect. And I was like, am I going to still play Hearthstone? Knowing that like, you know, they're, I don't know, catering to the Chinese audience and not believing in like, I don't know, their credo and stuff. That hit me. But this circumstance, I'm not all like, oh, time to quit. You know, like the other time before I had to actually like have an existential moment where I needed to like think about it. Like, do I want to contribute to this game that I don't believe is doing the ethical circumstances, you know? But now I'm just like, oh, it's a corporation being a corporation. Sucks.
Like it could bother you, and like I admire you for like speaking up, everybody in the community and everything. Like you should totally keep doing that if that's how you feel. But I just wouldn't take it out on streamers. I mean, that's just all I'm trying to say. Like, just direct your anger to the right place and do it in the right manner, and I feel like that's totally okay. And it looks like it's working. Yeah.
It's also like not individual developers' faults either. So if you're like personally attacking like developers on Twitter and stuff, don't do that, guys. Like it's not this one particular guy's fault that
It's not
you know
Ixar.
this. Yeah, it's not Ixar that that clown druid exists that survive. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's
don't
board
attack him
control.
with that or
No, okay.
the tavern pass or any of that, guys. Like it's not individual. You know what I'm saying? It's not the single developers. It's not a streamer. Don't attack people. You're just making yourself look foolish there. So.
Yeah, I think we beat this to death a little bit.
Yeah, but I think we covered a lot of good topics.
It was good.
I think we
Yeah, I like everyone's viewpoint on the circumstance. I think we said what needed to be said, and I'm ready to move on to the next segment. Let's go.
All right.
Nerf cards we think should get nerfed. Let's go.
Well, are these all cards that you think should get nerfed, or are we just like doing
Nerf
like
candidates?
just powerful cards. Powerful cards that may get touched in dirty ways.
Ooh, hello. Bladed Lady could get touched anytime she wants. No, okay. Bladed Lady. No. Yeah. So I don't. Who wanted to talk about this card? Who had brought this up?
I'll talk about it because I feel like if they're going to nerf a Demon Hunter card, I feel like it's between Bladed Lady and Il'gynoth, right?
Yeah.
Those are the cards that are probably leading to like when they look at like why is this deck so powerful? The first thing they look at is the new cards because previously they didn't nerf Demon Hunter, meaning that they're going to think like, okay, now something is pushing it over the limit. So, what do I think it's Bladed Lady that's doing that? Or do I think it's Il'gynoth? I think it's Bladed Lady. I think Il'gynoth gives it a lot of reach in situations that, it didn't have before. But I think this card as being a viable substitution to Glavebound Adept that actually clears something on the board and leaves a target that can snowball the game for the Demon Hunter means that it's just weaved into turns a lot more. You see it in the middle of the game like the entire time. And I feel like if they're going to touch something to hit Demon Hunter, I feel like it would be this card. I would rather it not be I don't know how they should touch it though. It's like if they made it cost 2 and kept it as a 6/6, would it still see
Then it's
play?
too bad, I think.
Maybe not, right? And if they made it like a cost 1 at a 5/5,
5/5, I think would be.
Would that be fair?
I don't
You
even
think that would be the nerf?
I actually don't have too much of a problem with this card, even though I thought I would. I mean,
what if you just take away Rush?
Sure.
I don't know if that would be really impactful. I feel
that would like change the entire card. I think.
Okay.
I actually.
I'd rather it be stat line hit than them take away the Rush. Like if they just made it like a 6/6 to plan on the board, then it would be
a lot worse.
I don't even know if I would really want to run it. I mean, it is nice to cheat out a 6/6, but when you can cheat out a 6/6, that'll trade into a taunt, so you can go face with the rest of the 6 damage that you just accumulated. That's very impactful when it's like, oh shit, like this is so great for the Paladin matchup with the 4/6 5-mana taunts. You know what I mean? Like the because those cards would always hit you like on turn 5. Paladin always plays the
Aldor Trueseeker.
Aldor Trueseeker. Thank you. They always play Aldor Trueseeker on turn 5 because it's always in their hand by the time they get to turn 5. And that's always an awkward turn for Demon Hunter to deal with the Paladin because you were like, okay, I can't just Blade Dance the 4/6 because that's not getting enough value out of this really impactful clear that I'm going to need to win the game. And then you're like, do I just smack it with my face? Because that feels bad too. So you're always hoping they would put like a whole bunch of Librams on it and you'd have a consume magic. That was like the most optimal circumstance that you could ever have happen in like that matchup right on turn 5. But now that we have Bladed Lady, what you can do is you can let them play the thing on 4/6. You can let them play the 4/6 on 5, and then you just you're like, twin slice, rush that into it, and then you get to maintain board. So this card is kind of giving the Paladin matchup a run for its money as well. And I don't know. I think that's probably not good when the one matchup that was supposed to be the counter matchup to the Demon Hunter now gets like a perfect answer to something that always happens in that matchup. I don't know.
Yeah, I could totally see if it was going to get changed. I could see it becoming a 5/5. But I feel like I'm on the team Il'gynoth boat there. That I think Il'gynoth. I don't know. It doesn't make sense at all. I'm in the Il'gynoth boat with this one. That one should be nerfed instead of this one. I feel like
they
this
should give it 5 health instead of 6, right? That's how they're gonna nerf it, man.
I know,
like,
yeah. Honestly,
I mean,
think I said
probably.
that yesterday too.
if they nerf Il'gynoth, they're just gonna give it less of a health stat line, and then everyone's gonna be like, okay. you know?
I would hope. My hope for Il'gynoth is that they increase the mana cost by 1. That's it. But this one, like this card is like really solid, Bladed Lady. I just don't think it's like as crazy as Il'gynoth. Like it can't do as crazy things, of course. Like it's still a very solid card, and I just don't feel like it wins you the game per se. Like if you get 2 of them down against the right deck on the same turn, maybe. But most of the
You
time,
play a lot
it's
of
really
control,
not gonna...
and probably
You just don't like OTK.
play with these things a lot, right? Like, you don't play with the Bladed Ladies a lot. Like, okay, so like a lot of games when you're playing Soul DH, whether it's like a rogue or like a mage or a mirror, like if one of these things lives, you win the game. Like whenever you rush it out on the board and it sticks. Like
Yeah.
that's like a really common circumstance. Like you stick a Bladed Lady after you remove something, it stays on the board, and then the game's pretty
I
much
mean, it's
done.
a lot. It's a big statted guy, yeah, or girl. Sorry.
It's a 1 mana 6/6 that can
Yeah.
kill something immediately. The card's insane.
People don't realize when it wins games, but because it's not like that feels bad moment, like where it's like where you're like, oh man, because most of the time people can get rid of it on like a follow-up turn or next turn. But they don't think about like, oh shit, if I wasn't investing all of that mana into dealing with the 6/6 rush that he played on that turn, then it would have probably changed the entire outcome of the whole game.
It's still, I'm not arguing that it's very, very strong, but I just don't. It's like on that line. It's like it's very close to broken. I just can't tell compared to Il'gynoth. Il'gynoth seems just a way better to me.
I played a control warrior, right? And I had 2 Bladed Ladies in my hand. I got a philosophy off of Wand Maker, so I made 3, right? And then I kept getting shitty draws, right? All my draws were just stupid. They were like, they're like, here's your this, here's like your consume magic, and then I would get like my war blades and like a whole bunch of like stuff that wasn't aggressive or drawing me cards. And I played a control warrior, and then the first one I played a Bladed Lady for 6 mana, and he was able to remove that one. Then I played the next one, and he wasn't able to remove that one. Then I played the third one, and then I won the game. You know what I mean? Like you just kept
You played them all for
Bladed
6
Ladies.
mana.
What's that?
You played them
Yep.
all for 6 mana each. All right.
I played them all for 6 mana in consecutive turns after one another for each turn, and then I won the game.
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna stick with my thing. We can go on to the next card though. We got some more cards here. I haven't maybe played the other matchups enough. I do usually play as a control deck.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm usually able to remove this, but sometimes it does stick around and it is a big threat. But then I just Mind Flayer Carge it, and then it's okay. But we got Foxy Fraud here. Who was what are we?
I added this just because I've heard some people say it's insane, and they've had. I was talking to, I believe, Flying Kraken, Clone, and Power last night in Draco's Discord, which is an awesome place to hang out. And they were talking about how this can lead to, very early Edwin swing turns. So we're talking like turn 2, 10/10 Edwins plus, or even turn 1 Edwins, which is pretty insane. So I myself have not seen a ton of this card, and I have not tried it yet. But from what I've talked to better players than I about it, and through watching a little bit of Jay Alexander, this card seems very, very good. Again, I don't know how they would touch this card to make it different or to nerf it.
One less.
Okay.
2/2.
Right? 2/2.
2 mana 2/2, boys. All right, that's it. Move along. Next card.
Yeah.
Fixed.
Yeah, this card is really really good, and there is like really nothing you could do. I guess you could make it like cost 1 less the next card, and that
I would rather that be
Oh,
the case, because
Yeah.
then it's like
How
less
about-
likely for them to do a crazy ass Edwin out on turn 1.
Yeah.
Or 2.
We could do a 2 mana 3/2 battle cry. Your stealth minions have +1 attack.
That actually might be good. No, that's a buff. Then I won't get my dust back. But yeah, this card's really really good. I mean, it's basically a free 3/2 in like a ton of situations. Yes. Like you play your Evil Miscreant like that and you get the combo off, and you would have to have played a different card typically instead of this. So you get a free 3/2, you get the Miscreant out, or you play a free 3/2, and then you get the Edwin out still. Or you could like Shadow Step this and even make it even bigger. Like, yeah, this card's super super good. I can see them touching it, but like a really minor amount, like what I said.
Yeah, this card is so good. I ended up putting a Consume Magic in my deck just because I play a lot of rogues against a lot of them, and I can't deal with it if I don't have like a silence in my deck. So I was like, okay, am I just gonna take the L for all of these, or am I gonna put a card in my deck that allows me to answer this? And I just went with the second option. But yeah, I got turn 2 or 3 Edwind in about like I played about 3 rogues in a row, and 2 of them got a very early Edwin off, like between turn 2 and 3 with this thing, and I lost. I was like, all right, the end. I'm not dealing with this anymore. So
yeah, it just makes it all more consistent.
But what if you just take away Edwin? That's been a problem card for so long. Like, you're allowed to have good cards like this. Just take away the card that makes this card like too swingy in the early game. But
all right, Jay Alexander's already not paying for the battle pass. All right, we don't need him to stop playing the game completely. All right? I don't know if they were gonna take away Edwin. I think they would have done it a long time ago. But I can't see them doing it. But I would love to see it. Of course, yeah. Cards really.
Yeah, they're not gonna take away Edwin. Yeah, I don't like overstated small minions that can be, when played early on, can just win games. It just makes it really annoying. Like,
yeah, turn 2 12 is not that fun.
No, like I get it. You got this 1 in 20. It sucks that I happen to be your opponent this 1 in 20 game. I guess I'll just take the L now.
Like that shouldn't happen.
No, it just feels bad.
Well, we'll see if Foxy Frog gets touched, and now we got Carnival Clown. I'm
not gonna lie, this guy is like buffed out of his mind. Like, look at that. Like, just
he's ripped.
He's freaking ripped.
Guys, I have to tell you something. They actually used my body as reference for this artwork.
Maybe when you're doing your push-ups.
Out of all the things you were going to say there, that was not where I thought you were going. That's funny. I actually really like this card. I mean, I get why it's insane. But I really like this card. I've been enjoying. I played a good bit of the Clown Druid over the last couple days. I have to admit, it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. I mean, I get that this thing is ridiculous, but I don't know.
I had a lot of fun with it too when I played with it. Not gonna lie,
it is fun.
Making like a full board of 12/12 is pretty fun.
Yeah, I had fun with it as well. I feel like it's not. It's a slow deck, right? You have to play survival most of the time first. You can't discount it, or this guy doesn't get corrupted. And if you're playing like, for example, like a control mage, a control priest, shaman, you have fairly decent ways to deal with the clown. But I know a lot of people have been complaining about it, and it seemingly is a very powerful card. So I thought it was worthy of mention. Talk about it.
Yeah, I don't want them to nerf this. And in fact, I hope that the most viable version of Druid is Clown Druid. After everyone figures out all the optimization, I hope they're like Mount Seller, Malygos, Clown. You know, I hope Clown is what sticks. That I just want that to be the name of the deck, like Clown Druid, and that's a good thing. So.
Yeah, and I had the perfect emote for it already, like for the clown. Like if you see it in chat right there, it's. Yeah, I had a dream. I knew that was like Hearthstone was already a clown fiesta, and now it's literally a clown fiesta. Yeah, like there are a bunch of clowns partying on the board.
Look at good call.
Thank you.
Good call.
Yeah, I don't see them really changing this card either. I don't even know how they would change this.
It's such a cool design, and I love it, man.
Yeah, I'm okay with this card. All right.
Next one.
Sword Eater. I don't think. I mean, this card, it is very strong. I could see it maybe going to a 2/4. I don't even know if it needs a nerf per se, but it's
It's a
really
2/4.
it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think it needs to be changed?
I saw the yeah,
I don't think it's
as
fair.
a warrior player, like this is a 4 mana 2/4. This is gonna get the same treatment as that priest card did. Um, this card is exceedingly powerful with the pirate tag is insane. 5 HP with a taunt's good. So it's basically like if you look at Fiery War Axe, it's a 3 mana 3/2 weapon. This is a 1 mana 2/5 taunt with pirate tag. Like it is just insane.
And yeah, and the thing I was talking about earlier about how what the problem with Warrior was it didn't do anything until after turn 4. And this card is defensive and offensive. It has like it gives you a weapon if you want to, take the aggressive route and go face with it, or it allows you to control board more. And it also protects your face for 5 damage and puts a must, it's an in effect that turn card, which is a 2/5 taunt for 4, which you people were running 2/5 taunts for 4 at one point anyway. I mean, it's not like it's not Bone Wraith. Clearly, there's a different. It's different than that card, but it's similar in the additional value that it provides and what it is. It's probably better than better.
Yeah, I don't think there's any debate over like if this card is like insane or not. It's just a really really good card, but like that's like this is like the power level of like the game right now, right? Like it's really strong cards like this. So I actually don't know if this really warrants a nerf. Like this is keeping up with like everything.
Yeah, but we've got to deal with this card for 2 more years, right?
That's
And
true.
if they're going to keep this card unchanged,
Yep.
and this is the precedent for power level, and then when they make new cards, they have to outdo this card. We're going down the Yu-Gi-Oh!
I mean, you
route.
can look
They're
at
going to
this
have
whole
1
entire,
mana 8/8 rush lifesteal divine shield taunt next.
You can
Yeah,
look at
this
this
is a little
whole
bit too
year
powerful.
at the as like the power, like it's the whole year, right? Like that is the power level, like that determines the power level, and like this is in theme with that level, which is scary. It is. It's really like changing the whole game, and like what is really a good turn 2 play, and like what's a good turn 4, and like it's ridiculous how strong these cards are in relation to like the past, like a standard control warrior in like the old days.
We all have agreed in the past that we don't like auto include cards, correct? Like
Yes,
cards that are
this
so
is an
good that they go in
auto-include.
every
That's
fucking
true.
deck. This card is that. This card is exactly like there's pretty much no warrior deck, whether it's control, whether it's enrage, whether it's aggressive, unless you're like you really, really care about what the Horde Pillager brings back. There's really no reason not to run this. But I don't know. Like I feel like at a 2/4 it would still be auto include. I feel like what would make it not auto include be if it was a 2/4 taunt that gave you a 2/2 weapon. That would be like, do I want to run? And it would still be good.
It's a big
It'd be
nerf.
really good. That's a huge nerf.
Yeah,
But it would still be super
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I don't think they would change the actual weapon. If they
Yeah.
do, I'd be very surprised. They most likely will do D-Money's, bread and butter minus 1 HP.
It's not mine. I'm just that's the Blizzard. That's the Blizzard nerf right there.
Yeah. That's what's gonna happen.
That's that butter knife nerf.
Take a little off the top, Just a little bit.
just a 5 to a 4.
Yeah, and then we have one more card here. We got the Bogspine Knuckles, which is what I wanted to discuss because I am all about this Evolve Shaman hatred.
Yeah.
Warshack, you had a good run. All right, Shaman was on top for 1 week. All right, it's going back down.
I'm not
buddy.
even playing the Evolved Shaman. I'm playing freaking what is it? Triple Fish Shaman. I haven't even played the Evolve yet.
All right, you could have your fun. But this card has to go. All right.
No.
And somebody actually said, I think it was Blastoise, who was a guy in chat. He said yesterday that there was apparently like a leak for this card on like an Ali Straza video that showed it being buffed. This weapon.
What?
Yeah, that's what he said. That's apparently a leak on an Ali Straza video. But I think maybe I don't remember what he said the buff was. I think it was like maybe like a another durability or something. But if they, I don't think this card is getting buffed at all. I think this card has to get nerfed. I think it has to be a 6-cost weapon, because the ability to you're saying 4 mana 3/2. Well, that I don't know. That this has to be increased in mana cost, because like the ability to Lightning Bloom this out really early and then just drop a Dread Corsair with it and just get a 5-drop and punch something for 4 is just, and like set up your next rabbit like next turn. Like I don't know, it's too crazy. And the consistency that you can get off with this, like with the new Cage Match Custodian guy, you're always getting a weapon. If you don't, then you're unlucky, and I feel bad for you. I'm sorry, but I also don't feel bad because you're playing this deck, and this deck seems like it's broken. All right. I think this is the main.
Is that how you really feel?
A little bit. Yeah.
It's kind of shitty how like every time Shaman works, it's the same shit. You know what I mean? Like it's like the last time Shaman was working was like like really well, like was during the time they brought Evolve back into the game. People were throwing bunnies, evolving them, and now we're doing the same exact thing with different cards, but the same exact thing.
Yeah, Desert Hair Evolve, Desert Hair Revolve, Desert Hair Knuckles. I mean, it doesn't. I agree that it is not the most flavorful of good Shaman decks that we could have seen with new cards. You think new cards, new decks, new combos? No, new cards, same rabbit, different minion.
It all revolves around the same thing, and it's yeah, I don't know. The Evolve archetype is horrible. I feel like everybody hated it. I don't know why people are loving it now. I thought we hated this, guys. Like when Desert Hair Evolve was the thing, like when they brought it back into the meta, like I thought everybody hated Hearthstone. And now that it's not Evolve, now it's Revolve. They added a letter to it, guys. Now we love it. All right, don't change a thing.
New and improved, never before seen.
Yeah, and now we have this weapon, of course, which just makes it a lot better and just more consistent. So, not my thing. I would love to see them make this 1 more mana. I think that would help out a lot.
Revolve's the problem, though. It's not Bogspine Knuckles. Like this card was shit. Like until now.
You're saying what's the problem?
Revolve. Like
I don't think Revolve is the problem. I think it's a good card, but
what do you mean? Like so the reason that this archetype works is because you can throw out a whole bunch of cards and then pay 1 mana to evolve them into something of the same cost.
It certainly helps it, yes.
Because like if you're relying on the bunny sticking to like get the knuckles out, then that's not going to really work most of the time. But that's not what people are doing. They're like, let me put a totem out, let me draw my weapon, then I'll throw the bunnies out, then I'll coin a revolve, and then before the knuckles come out, they're already like evolving 3-drops that were evolved forms of bunnies, and then they just keep hitting you in the face and cycling through all the minions. You know what I mean? It's before this weapon comes out that they already do the thing that makes it so it's spiraling out of control.
I feel like this weapon is the main source of like where the issue lies. I don't know. Like,
can I ask you a question? Why were people not running Bogspine Knuckles with bunnies last season in Squallamance?
Well, yes, it was still a thing. It was still able to be a thing, but now they weren't running it because like you have to get the weapon, and now you can get it with Cage Match Custodian.
Tutors makes a huge difference as well. I mean, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's a combination of the tutor and the revolve. Like the revolve is not the only problem. Like yes, it makes it just like better overall, but it's just being able to get this weapon, and then you get it back with Horde Pillager, and then it's like it's kind of an issue to me at least. And I feel like this is the main thing to touch. If you were to touch something in Evolve Shaman, I think it would be this. I don't know.
Yeah, and in theory, this card isn't usually what you expect to be a powerful card because it's like, okay, you have to already have board. And it's a 5-mana weapon, you know? So like this card is usually like bad unless you're already ahead. And that's kind of what we generally classify something as win more. But yeah, I get with the tutor
and then the Dread Corsair. And then,
well, and you have like the Hoarder which brings this back for free.
Mhm.
So it's not like you're just seeing this like 1 or 2 times. You're seeing this like it's attacking
game.
every turn. Yeah, it's attacking like every turn, every other turn. And that's just an insane amount of value to keep having to deal with. You don't clear the board, you're going to have to deal with a bigger minion, and you're taking 4 a turn alongside of that. So just a
You know
lot.
what deck does good against this? This one that runs Mystics and Blade Dances. You
Yeah.
don't actually have to worry about the shit evolving because you kill it all.
That's true. I did that in the tournament today.
Yeah. There's like, it's just a very polarized matchup for this deck. It's bad against Demon Hunter. So
Yeah. Well,
there you go.
we might see a change. We might not. These are just our opinions, guys. And we'll see what happens. But I think we're good to get into Q&A.
Yeah, we probably went on a little long this one, so we can do a quick
Did we?
one. I don't know.
Yeah. I think we've a little over an hour, I think.
You should say on like the length of this call, and then maybe you subtract 10 minutes or so. I don't know. But yeah, let's get into Q&A, guys. If you got some questions for us, we're gonna put you live on the screen right now. There's your famous chat. You're famous. There you are. All you have to do is ask a question.
We had a very good question at the start of the stream, and I had said we could wait for it to the end, and it was asking why is there not a large amount, or why was Pure Paladin not represented in the top 1000 legend, but yet it's so popular overall.
Was that the question? I thought it was about Res Priest.
No, was it Res Priest? Not all right, never mind. It was not Pure Paladin. My bad. It was Res Priest. Okay, sorry about that. So
yeah, you said
I was
you had a
thinking
clear
Shaman.
answer.
Yeah, I was a Shaman Revolve. So the Res Priest will get owned by the Revolve Shaman because they would just change all of their taunt minions into like garbage, and then they're resurrecting just a bunch of like random minions. And with Shaman being so powerful, and like you said, D-Money, that you're seeing so much of Shaman, that's not a good thing to bring.
Yeah, I feel like Res Priest did get really good tools, but there is just like there's still priests that's going like other priest that is going to just steal their minions. There you got the Shaman, as Rob was talking about there. I'm not sure about Soul DH. I mean, if they're running Consume Magic, it seems like a pretty good matchup. Like priest is really just like sitting there until like turn whatever, right? Like I don't even know what turn they start actually putting things on the board. Turn 5, right? So
yeah,
it's like
turn 5.
You're just sitting there trying to stay alive while there's a lot of aggressive decks in the meta right now. Also, there's like there's the ETC Control Warrior, which really wants you to keep like delaying the game. Like sure, like just let me build up my combo. You can't gain armor anyway. And now here's my broom. Here's my ETCs. GGs.
So I actually found a counter to that. If you're playing Priest,
what is it?
Or any control deck, you just don't play any minions.
Okay, sure.
The other one was you play minions that can heal you when they die, or they have lifesteal. So what I did is I couldn't do the no minion route because he was just gonna hit me in the face. So I just made sure I played a bunch of defenders, and every time he would kill a defender, it would heal me, and he had to attack into them because it required rush. So that worked out fine.
Well, but a lot of the time, the rush guys are always like 1/1s and 2/2s.
Yeah.
Yes. So my defenders, one of them was 1 HP, the other one had like 3 HP, and he just kept killing them, and I just kept healing. So I healed for 12 overall.
Does that consistently beat it though? Maybe.
I'm just that has been my experience. Today I was playing Control Shaman. It would have lost 100% if I played minions. I just opted to not play any minions for as soon as he went down to like 5 cards in deck. I just didn't play any minions, and he eventually fatigued himself and died. And then the other time I was playing the Control Priest, and I just played taunts with healing, and I didn't die. He took me down to like 2 or 1 or something like that.
Well navigated, Rob. Well navigated.
Let's see. Yeah, so guys, keep asking those questions in chat, and we will choose some to answer here.
What are your predictions and hope for mid-expansion card release? I hope they support some of the old god archetypes more. Like I hope they give N'Zoth like some good neutral minions to res that would work in multiple classes. Maybe like a neutral elemental with lifesteal or something that's like got a taunt or something that's like really annoying to deal with if it's rezzed. Or maybe like a I don't know. Things like that would be cool. Or they gave like another Cthulhu card that supports the Cthulhu archetypes. Things that they introduced that were new to this expansion but aren't really hitting the power level that needs to be competitive. I'd like to see those things get more support. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be some cool corrupt cards in the new the mini expansion. So that's exciting.
I hope so.
Isar's support. So
Yasharaj. We'll get some support there.
For the mini expansion, Draco had mentioned Old God support. I would like some like big amalgam cards, so you could like slap down some big amalgam and get good defiler, or not defiler, but Nazoth synergy with that. So I'd like to see like a 7+ mana amalgam sort of card that did something that comboed with other
the giant amalgam card.
Yeah, like they have it in BGs. He's like he looks cool as hell. He's like some giant amalgam thing, and he's really good in BGs. So let's put him into standard.
Oh, Malgadon?
Cool. Yeah, see? Look how cool that guy is. He's a homie.
Yeah, that would be cool if it had a cool effect like that. Like, now we just have, like, the Circus Amalgam, which is just the vanilla 4/5 Amalgam.
Yeah.
And it's kind of
boring, we deserve better.
Know? Yeah.
Yeah.
What counters Revolve Shaman? Well, Draco just said it before. Demon Hunter does very well against it, like a Soul Demon Hunter, I think.
You still have to play well. It's hard. You know what I mean? Like, you don't just beat it. You have to do the mulligan correctly.
So I can't just queue up with it and then I win?
No.
I can't just exist.
You need like 3 waves of AoE removal, and you have to time it right when you
That's
when
bullshit.
You get him what?
No, like having to play. Yeah, I feel like Highlander Priest has been doing pretty well against it, or like just like a Control Priest, just like anything with a lot of board clears, I guess. Or yeah, board clear.
It doesn't have a lot of draw, so once you can kind of deal with their minions and make them non-exist, then all they really have is a weapon and a way to keep bringing a weapon back and hitting. So as long as you can clear their board and heal, you're good.
People want to know what cards we would buff.
We would buff?
Oh, that's a good question.
What's the decks that I play?
I don't know, man.
I think we should buff the Klein a little bit so it doesn't crash every time Yogg is played.
That's a good one.
I think that's a pretty solid buff.
That's a nerf to Yogg though.
That is. That's a buff and a nerf.
It's really hard to think about what cards we should buff, because then it's like a super subjective question, because it's like, okay, what cards do we like that aren't good enough to actually play? And then we end up just picking things because they're like memes, or we like the flavor text or the art or something. You know, like I would somehow want Fell Steel Executioner to get buffed because I love the art of that weapon. How it looks like the little skull with the tentacles.
That's your new sub badge, isn't it?
I do have a sub badge for Fell Steel Executioner.
I got it in my hand today and it was golden, and I was like, wait, this is Draco's sub badge. Nice.
Yeah, dude. It's sick. Isn't like cool looking art though? I love that way the weapon looks.
It's like a cool animated style. I don't know. Yeah.
It looks very like Soul Eater, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought when I looked at it. It looked like something. It looked like a Death Scythe from Soul Eater. I was like, dude, this is sick. I love this card.
Oh, Dimensional Ripper. That they should give the cards you get from Dimensional Ripper Rush.
That would be fair.
I think that's very fair.
That would make
Don't
it a
giggle
lot.
at me. This is serious.
That's a big buff, though.
No, it's not.
What? That's not.
All right. How many big warriors have you played against this expansion?
That doesn't change the fact that it's a big buff. That's like huge.
Yeah, so
because you're only playing that in big warriors, so you're only getting big dudes.
And how many of those have you played?
It's still turn 10. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's a 10 mana spell.
It's like,
I'm not saying that they shouldn't do it per se. I'm just saying that's a big buff. All right.
Yeah,
like,
but it's
for
still
a big
on par
deck.
with. Think about 10 mana spells, right?
Lot.
There's the 5/6 taunt thing that Shaman has. There's survival of the fittest. Dimensional Ripper is not on par with this shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying like that changes a lot, because then if you get the 6/8 guys and you could trade them in, and then you have a clear board to just like go face with the 3/3s and
for 10 mana.
Sure.
Bro, how's that any different than Reno? Play Reno, clear the whole board regardless of death rattle, gain 5 armor, shit, random RNG garbage all game.
These are completely different cards. I don't know. I don't. It's hard to see like what to buff like until we see like the nerfs come, I guess, or something. I don't know. Like they're already gonna buff like the classic set next year, the beginning of next year, which is gonna be good. But you would have to like take a look at like each individual class and each archetype, and like it's very tough to speculate any kind of buffs there. But Rob is just telling us his favorite kind of archetype and his favorite card, and maybe
hey, there was merit behind my words.
Do you think Deck of Lunacy is a card worth playing? I know D-Money talks about it being okay on his stream a whole bunch. Or no, is that Rob? Is it you? One of you guys talks about it being good frequently, but I don't think it's good.
I haven't actually even played the card yet.
You destroy your draw, right? So like if you bring Deck of Lunacy in your deck, you have like draw in your deck, right? Like Arcane Intellect, like Cram Session. You have some way to draw more cards. But the second you play Deck of Lunacy, that thing probably turned into like a kill command or something.
All right, I'm gonna give you a DracoCatt answer here. All right, it requires a lot of setup. All right, so you got to have your Arcane Intellect in your hand. Maybe have a Cram Session in your hand with like a spell damage guy, and then you play it. And now, just got so much better. There you go. Because Draco usually, I usually put Draco in a position with Demon Hunter, and then he's like, "No, you gotta set this up. You gotta set it all up. You gotta set the skull up on the left. You gotta set the bladed lady up, the Il'gynoth. You know, you just gotta set Deck of Lunacy up. I think it's a really good card. I mean, it does get rid of. It's really powerful.
It's really random.
It is very random, but most of the time,
a little bit of mana cheating.
Most of the time, it's going to be beneficial to you, just because of like how much mana you are cheating. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what card you get, of course. Like if you get a sprint for 4 mana, you literally win the game. Like it's GG. Or you could just get like a tip the scales and it doesn't help you at all, or something like that. You know, you never know. But I think overall, it's kind of like one of those cards. It's like a box or something. Like it's overall probably going to be good.
It's less good than box. Like
it's better than box.
It's better than box?
Yes.
What? How is it better than box? You play and then you win the game 15% of the time.
Sometimes you win. Sometimes it wins you the game. Yes, but like sometimes Deck of Lunacy just wins you the game. It's overall better than box. Like it's.
But the Lunacy card, you actually have to like use the cards and like think about stuff, and there's like an actual game that gets played after this card gets played. When box gets played, it's whatever the hell happens. Like there's no player making decisions here. It's a cloud fiesta. Can we get some clowns in chat?
That's a good idea. It's very different. Hard to compare the two, but
you just did.
The power level of Deck of Lunacy is just, it's consistently better. I mean, box is just so inconsistent. You never know what's gonna happen. That's why it's so hard to like compare it. Like Deck of Lunacy, you have a general idea of what's gonna happen at least.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
It's literally any spell in the game with that mana. It's not even mage spells. It's any spell.
Yes, but it's with that mana cost. You have it deduced to that mana cost for each card in your deck. So like box can just draw you 20 cards, then you fatigue yourself to death. But with Deck of Lunacy, you know it's not going to draw you 20 cards. It might get you cards to draw you 20 cards. But
how many times have you drawn 20 cards in a turn? I don't think a single time you've ever played box you've ever drawn 20 cards ever.
I embellished it a little bit there. All right, but
this is a deep hole you're digging, Mr. DmoneyGames.
Deck of Lunacy, I think, is a good card. APX Void, who plays like all mage, he tweeted out the other day the Deck of Lunacy is better on 2 than Keleseth on 2.
Just because your big brother said it was good doesn't mean it actually is, dude.
I'm not Brian O'Brien, okay? I'm not like an APX Void fanboy. But he plays a lot of mage, and he's played a lot with that card, and he says it's very good. So that's just a little more evidence to back me up here. But I think it's strong. I don't think it's like one of the strong. I think I did put it as one of the top 5 cards of the expansion before the expansion released, and I don't think it's a top 5 card, but I think that it's one of the top 20 cards, maybe 15 cards. Yeah.
Okay.
I have no words. All right.
I have no words.
Do we want to end it here?
I'm cool with ending it here. That was a
Yeah,
good
I'm
one.
cool.
All right. Sounds good. I am going to. I never even. So you said somebody, was it Squirrel that made that command or something? Somebody made that command for the podcast, right?
Deku?
Deku made it. I forgot
Was
to
it
like
Deku?
copy and paste it, so I don't even have it anymore.
You don't even have the pasta?
I don't.
Are you kidding me?
Do you have it in your channel set up?
No.
No. Well, I'm gonna shout out Draco and and Warshack separately here.
Sounds good, man.
And yeah, thank you guys for joining me as always. I hope everybody in chat enjoyed having you guys here. I think we had some really good conversations this week. It was a lot of fun. And yeah.
See you next week, man. See you, chat. Thanks for having me here. Peace.
Thanks for having
And
me as
also,
well. Have a
wait.
good rest of your stream. What?
Happy belated birthday to Warshack, by the way.
Hey, thank you,
Alright.
D-Money. I appreciate that.
No problem, man. All right, take care, guys.
Thanks for
Oh.
yeah, take care. Thanks for having me. Have a good night, chat. Have a good night, D-Money. Peace.
Peace out,
peace.
guys.